Hey everyone, and welcome to Making a Brewery, which is going to be a video series on YouTube about the trials and tribulations of opening a brewery in Ireland. So this is episode one. I want to give a shout out to Andy at Four Priests Brewery in Middlewich in the UK for the inspiration for doing these videos. If you've never seen Andy's video series on YouTube, I'd highly recommend checking it out about the whole process of starting a microbrewery in the UK. But the reason I wanted to do this video series is there's nothing really like that video series for Ireland, and the whole process of starting a brewery in Ireland is a little bit different than it is in the UK. So I wanted to chart that process. It's sometimes quite hard to find information in Ireland on the steps you should take when you're setting up a microbrewery. So I'm hoping by me doing these videos, I'll be able to inspire others to open breweries in Ireland as well, because they'll be able to learn from my mistakes, hopefully. But I'll be able to hopefully walk through the process of what you need to do to open a brewery. Not that I'm an expert, I've never done this before. So I have wanted to open a brewery for years. I've been home brewing for about 9 years or so. And it's always been a dream of mine to open a brewery. I've looked into it, I've researched it an awful lot, but I've never really had the guts essentially to take the plunge and go for it. And I guess watching Andy's videos with Four Priests Brewery kind of gave me the inspiration, in the sense that Andy still hasn't given up his day job, which I don't intend to do either. He brews on a part-time basis, but he's been growing his business over the last couple of years. And I'm sure maybe one day Andy will give up the job and go full-time in the brewery. So that was my plan, is to essentially start off slow and look to build the business over time. Start off really small, and then over the next few years build up the business to what hopefully will be in a few years a viable business that I can potentially work in full time. So how did I get here in terms of buying a brewery? So a few weeks ago, made a bit of a spur of the moment decision to actually go ahead and buy a brewery. I've been looking online, just kind of keeping an eye on things, and I did see a nice brewery system online that was going for quite cheap, a Speedle Brewmeister, a Braumeister 200 litre, which is kind of what I'm looking for in terms of a starting volume, 200 litre system to a 300 litre system. So I seen one that was cheap online, and I remembered that I'd visited a guy in Kerry in Ireland last year, or the year before last, and visited his small brewery, and he told me that he had previously brewed on the Speedle Braumeister 200 litre, but he had a new Dave Porter system, I think he has now. So when I was looking at this other system, I decided to give this guy a call, just to ask him his advice and his experience of that system. And lo and behold, he actually still had his system, and he was looking to sell it. And he also had 4 fermenters as well, from Speedle. Speedle. I don't really know how to pronounce it, but I'm sure I'll learn as time goes by. But he had 4 fermenters, so the 200 litre Braumeister plus 4 240 litre fermenters and a few other bits and bobs. So I had a good chat with Joe down in McGill's Brewery in Kerry, and we came to an agreement that I would take his old brewery off his hands. So I kind of did that spur of the moment without really putting much planning into it. And then I kind of went into a mad scramble of, oh shit, I need to find a location for this brewery. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. So I have, where I'm living at the moment is in rural Ireland, in a place called Belturbet in Cavan. And the local town in Belturbet, it's a beautiful town, and I'll show you that throughout the series of these videos. But local town has a lot of empty shop fronts and a lot of empty units, which I thought would be quite easy to rent, to put a brewery in there. But after going on a mad scramble and looking at as many locations as possible, it kind of I came to the understanding that it wasn't that easy in terms of finding a location. Some people were looking for too much money, well above what I was looking for or to pay in rent on a monthly basis. Some people just didn't want to rent their properties for whatever reason. So after a lot of looking around on what was available in the local area and even in the wider area around Cavan as well, I've come to the conclusion that I'm most likely going to put the brewery in where I'm sitting at the moment, which is a garage on the side of my house. Now, I'm sure that might come with its own problems as well. Like the space is not massively big. I think it's about 6 meters by 4 meters. Should be well enough to fit the brewery into it, but it doesn't give me a massive amount of space to work with. I'm also going to have potentially some issues with, I need to get planning permission, change of use because it's a domestic residence, and I'll need to swap this garage over to commercial use. I'll most likely, I'll definitely have to get 3-phase power in, and that can be quite expensive from my understanding of it, to get that on, to get it into a kind of a domestic residence in a rural area. So that's another issue that I may have. But as I said, we'll chart this whole process throughout these videos. And then one other issue that I may come across as well, outside of obviously turning this place into a brewery, I will have to put in some form of water treatment system, because I'm in a rural area and I'm working off a domestic septic tank. So I'm guessing that I'll probably need to upgrade that system. So the combination of adding in 3-phase power, which could cost thousands, I still haven't got a quote on that yet. Getting the planning permission to change from domestic to commercial, and then getting potentially a new septic tank could run into the kind of into the double digits in terms of thousands. So probably 20 grand or so, which is not essentially money I want to spend at the moment in terms of starting the brewery. However, if I look at this long term, not having to pay anybody else rent for a premises is money I'm going to save in the long run. So anything I invest into the place at the moment or going forward is going to be it's going to be mine essentially, and I won't need to pay anybody rent for use of the premises. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at the moment. That may change going forward. I may decide that this, I may not get the planning permission, or I may not be able to get the 3-phase power in, and I may need to look at a different location. But at the moment, I've kind of settled on using this space. But let me show you a little bit around this space. It's what I use as my home brewery at the moment. I'm kind of a home bar. I'm a little bit annoyed because I spent a lot of money doing the place up over the last few months to turn it into a home bar and home brewery. And now I'm going to probably have to rip it all back out again and start from scratch to put the brewery in. But let me show you a little bit about the space, and I'll talk you through my initial plans for this space. So it's a fairly kind of standard home garage, I guess. We have these kind of garage doors here, which are electric garage doors, which are nicely insulated, so they do keep a bit of heat into the place. And then that's my kind of home brew setup at the moment, which obviously I'll need to get rid of once I get the actual commercial brewery in here. And then that was like my kind of home brewery bar there, with a few taps. And yeah, it's essentially a kind of a man cave style home brewery stroke bar. But I do feel that it does give me potentially enough space to fit the 200 litre Braumeister in here and the 4 fermenters and a few other bits and pieces that I will need, like a chiller for the fermenters and an area for kind of bottling. And so the initial plan is just to bottle all my beers and maybe brew 2 batches per week on a part-time basis, not giving up the day job. So I should have enough space in this area. I will need to probably put, not probably, I'll definitely need to put a drain in here, probably in the center of the floor. So the 600 quid I spent on the floor will probably need to be ripped back up. It is only kind of lino, cheap lino, 600 quids. But I'll probably need to rip that up and do something with the floor and put some form of drain in there that will go out into the septic tank or into the drains outside for the wastewater outside, and then that'll head off into the septic tank. So yeah, that's a little bit about what the place looks like at the moment. I will show you on the next video probably what the place looks like outside to give you an idea on that. So once I'd decided to buy the brewery and to go ahead with this kind of project, the next thing I needed to do was choose a brewery name. So when I've been brewing out of here as a home brewer, I've kind of made up a home brewery name, which was Border Town. That came from the fact that where we're situated in Ireland is literally on the border between the Republic of Ireland and Northern Ireland. It's just on the border there. So I've called my home brewery Border Town. But in order to have much more of a broad appeal to people around Cavan, because ultimately my initial market, because it's going to be such a small scale brewery, I'll have to appeal to the people of Cavan initially. So I wanted to go with something that kind of resonated with Cavan people. So where I'm situated in Belturbet, historically was the capital of the ancient kingdom of East Bréifne. So I thought something related to Bréifne would be a good idea for a brewery name. And then I wanted it something to kind of resonate with the Irishness of the area as well, the ancient Irishness. So I've decided on Bréifne Gael Brewing Company. So that's our kind of working business title at the moment and what we'll be brewing under as that name. And then the next step after choosing a brewery name was ultimately setting up a company. So I had done a start your own business course with the local enterprise office in Cavan about 8 months ago or so, because as I said, I was planning to do this for a long time. And part of the advice in that start your own business course was you either set yourself up as a sole trader or as a limited company. I've gone with setting myself up as a limited company, or setting us up as a business as a limited company, simply because I'm not going to be giving up my day job and I'm still paying tax as a PAYE worker. Setting up a limited company allows me to put all the profits back into the business and not have to pay income tax on that. Now, I'm no expert on tax, but I've been advised that that's the best process for the early stages of the business. It'll mean I'm getting taxed less essentially for the business if I have it set up as a limited company, and potentially I can pay myself a wage at some stage in the future if I'm ever making money at it. So to set up a limited company, what I did, quite a simple process really. I went online rather than doing it all myself, which probably would have been the cheaper way of doing it. Like, it is possible to set up a limited company by yourself, but there are organizations that are experts in this and they know how to file the papers and designate the shares and nominate a company secretary and all that stuff that comes with setting up a limited company. So rather than me doing all that myself, I decided to go with a company which I think are called companysetup.ie or something like that. Cost a couple of £100. I think it was about 220 quid. And they do everything for you, and they've incorporated the company and they set it up in about 5 days or so. So it's a pretty easy process. There's a lot of companies out there that do it, so it's not just the one I just mentioned. Have a look online and see, and you'll find a company who'll do all the dirty work for you essentially, and you won't need to bother yourself with filling out too many forms. You'll have to sign a few forms, but they send them all to you, and it's quite an easy process. So I've done that now. The company's set up, Bréifne Gael Brewing Company, and yeah, I've done all that like literally over the last 3 or 4 weeks since I decided to buy the brewery from Joe at McGill's Brewery down in Kerry. By the way, check out McGill's actually. Joe does an absolutely stunning imperial barrel-aged stout, really delicious, and a lot of other nice beers as well. But I'd highly recommend the barrel-aged stout, which is one of my favorites. But yeah, I bought the brewery off Joe and about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and it's arriving tomorrow now. So previously in this area here, the space I've just showed you a moment ago, I did have a lot of kind of table and chairs and other kind of pieces of junk that I had lying around my bar, but I've had to clear that up, clear out the tables and chairs to hopefully make enough space for the equipment to fit in here tomorrow. And I'll take some video shots of that tomorrow and show you and put them onto the video as well. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at the moment. As I said, I just wanted to do this video series to let people know what it's like to start a brewery, and hopefully by other people seeing what I'm going to have to go through over the next probably 3, 6, 9 months trying to get this brewery set up, that they'll learn something from that and maybe learn from my mistakes. And but yeah, that's it. And hopefully I can bring you all along on this journey with me to starting a brewery. As I said, this area where I'm in at the moment, it's such a beautiful area, Belturbet in County Cavan, and hopefully I can show you some of the area. My ultimate goal is to kind of bring craft beer to this local kind of rural area. There are no other craft breweries in the whole county of Cavan, so I'll be the only one at the moment. Maybe there'll be others in the future, but yeah, looking forward to having you all along with me on this journey. I'll take a quick break now because we'll maybe take some video of the brewery arriving tomorrow, and that'll wrap up episode 1 of this series. So yeah, looking forward to speaking with you all going forward, and hopefully you can join me on this journey. Cheers. Okay, so the brewery's in, and we are a little bit pushed for space. I still need to clear this place out, I guess, and get it ready for it being a proper brewery, because it's still, as you can see here, it's still my home brewery at the moment. Let me actually switch the camera around. You can see, so yeah, it's still all of my grandfather stuff is in here, and it's all still set up as a home brewery. However, we do have the four 240 litre fermenters, which are looking absolutely beautiful, and also the 200 litre brewing system, as you can see. So yeah, as things stand, obviously we're a little bit pushed for space, but what I anticipate is potentially clearing out that side, redoing the wall over here, putting a form of plastic, I don't know what you would call it, cladding inside here, alongside the back of the fermenters. So the fermenters will go 4 in a row just along here, and then maybe I'll have the Brewmaster 200 litre in this area here. and then maybe where the bar currently is at the moment, at the back of that room, maybe build some form of a cold room up there, and then potentially over this side of the house, I'll have a kind of a table area for bottling and canning and whatever else needs to be done over this side. So yeah, really impressed with the system. It's in great condition. Thanks for that, Joe. I've been having a little bit of a play around with the pulley system and seeing what it has to offer. Unfortunately, I don't have 3-phase power in this premises just yet. It may take me months to get that. So at the moment, I can't actually switch anything on and see what's working and how it works and all of those things. But I can wait around for that. Joe did tell me that he had kind of upgraded his system to a Braumeister mobile. So I think that effectively means it can be controlled through Wi-Fi. And then the fermenters, they're not pressure fermenters, which obviously is a little bit restrictive. I'll probably need to buy myself a pressure tank, like a bright tank for carbonating beers. I've had a look at a few of those online, and I'm probably looking at a few grand for one of those. But just to give you a quick look inside here, they're spotless clean, well looked after, and they're all in really good condition. So obviously myself, I've no experience with using this type of equipment, so it will take a bit of getting used to and learning how to use it all. But I suppose the good thing about the fermenters is they are jacketed, so you can run glycol or water solution through them to cool them down through those ports at the back. You can probably see there. So I'll need to just figure out how that all works. I need to obviously get a chiller as well. It looks like 2 of these fermenters already have a kind of a ball lock fitted to them. I'm not sure why 2 of them do have them and 2 of them don't, but I can give Joe a call and ask him why that is. But yeah, overall really pleased with the kit. So that is essentially the first step on the journey, was getting the kit here, purchasing the kit, and now we move on to the next phase, I guess, which is all of the headache of planning permission and all of applying for licenses and all that kind of boring stuff that needs to be done. But maybe I'll talk about that a little bit more on the next episode. I'm still kind of just getting used to the fact that I have all this in here, and my all this equipment in here. My bar is no longer. My bar is ruined a little bit. But look, I'm going to have to do a lot of work on this place over the next few months to get it up to scratch. So it adheres to health and safety and all of those things to allow me to get the proper licenses to operate a brewery over here. But yeah, really exciting. And yeah, I'll leave it there, and we'll talk a little bit more in episode 2.